If you're a service-based founder or creator doing well on paper, but behind the scenes you're overwhelmed, stuck in the weeds, and craving real freedom, then this video is for you. I'm going to show you how I actually scaled an 80K a month in personal profit after tax, working 4 hours a day without selling a course, launching a funnel, or burning everything down to start over. A lot of times it was actually about 5 to 6 hours a week. Now, this is actually a new model, and it's working right now for me and hundreds of other entrepreneurs who are tired of letting their business control them. The truth is, by the way, I actually used to think that burnout was just a part of the game, work 80 hours a day. One day I could actually sip coconuts somewhere, but I ended up with headaches and no coconuts, right? So now it actually started with the crash and when I realized that I didn't own a business. Now, not long ago, I was actually running a 100K a month agency, and from the outside, I made it, right? But from the inside, I was exhausted, as you could see in this picture right here, and then like this Greek god right here, hands in his face. There was a lot of team drama, sales issue as performance were dropping, and there was constant client fires. To actually 1 week, like both of my CSMs, by the way, amazing women, they had to leave because they were literally about to pop. They were about to give birth and I had no backup. So overnight, I was back in the trenches, as you can see here on this picture, doing client fulfillment, done free fulfillment for 100 plus clients deep while trying to act like I had it all together. I was actually in Tulum at the time, as you can see here on the beach, hungover, sunbaked, missing yacht invites, and trying to fix our entire ad pipeline just from Slack on the beach. And that was the moment when I actually kind of like realized that I didn't own a business. I actually was the business. Now, I even remember looking at my phone here at the beach and I was half sweating, half stressing, just thinking like, dude, what am I like doing here? Everyone was at the beach, not even thinking about work in January, like midweek. And I was juggling basically client chaos under a palm tree. Now, the first step is to kind of like identify your burnout signs, right? And that's like, hey, are you constantly in the weeds? Like right here? Are you always like handling client fires yourself? And are you maybe avoiding breaks from the business, right? Because it stops if you're not there. Maybe it's one of the three, or maybe it's all three of them. Now, all of those could be indicators towards burnout. The second step is basically acknowledging that the root problem. And a lot of times you are the bottleneck. Like for example, like Alex Ramos says, no days off. Well, sometimes you kind of need to take a day off. You may have built yourself into the center of everything, which is why it's hard to get out of any of these three. Quick one, by the way, book a call in the link using the description, and I'll show you exactly how we rebuilt without actually starting over. Then it kind of comes to the next phase, which is like firing yourself, or in my case, it was myself, was actually the best move that I've ever made. And the turning point, I simply let go. I stepped out of the CEO seat, and honestly, I have built a name in my niche at this point, and my niche was real estate marketing. And I was actually in a high-level mastermind. I posted about hiring a CEO because this also happened. Like I was in Dubai, all the time zones were all messed up. It's like a 9-hour time difference from the East Coast. And this one was in Colombia. We were just like partying for New Year's, right? And I was like, I gotta get out. So yeah, I basically posted about a CEO and dozens of people applied. One stood out who was driven, sharp, and respected me already just because I was the top case study in that mastermind group. So it worked. He stepped in and I started rebuilding basically, and not bigger, but smarter. So instead of adding more, I subtracted. So we stripped down the whole offer down to one core transformation, helping realtors exit the operator seat and now also founders, as you're probably watching this video, that allowed me to completely remove myself, work 4 hours a day, and still scale. I must say it was kind of weird at first. Like I wake up and there was nothing urgent to fix. Like I would go grab, let's say, like a hot chocolate and journal instead of panicking about Slack. And if I wanted to jump in, I could just jump in. But at that point, it was just a choice. The first step where it comes down to is to basically like document your business. Now, for example, this could be with like Loom videos for each core function, SOPs in Notion or Google Docs. And right now, like ChatGPT is actually really, really good at helping with this. Step 2 is to basically build a big org chart. Now, this is a very important one because you want to basically see what your whole organization looks like. CEO, ops, CSM, sales, and executive assistant. The CSM handles all the onboarding, the support, client communications. Sales teams, of course, takes care of sales, but also make sure you have the sales manager to make sure that the sales team is performing. The executive assistant is the assistant of the client success managers. And then the CEO looks basically over all of this. This way, once you have a structure, you know exactly what everyone's responsibilities are and everyone can be held accountable as well. And they're aware of their responsibilities as well. And after that, you want to replace yourself, right? So after you've basically documented everything, you've built the org chart, now you basically start assigning the tasks to everyone and their responsibilities. And the person that you want to bring in second to last is the sales team because that's going to be your most high performing tasks and high paying tasks. And then the CEO role. That's the very last one. Quickly, if you want to do the same, counter link is below. Book a time and and let's map this out together. Basically, what I'll do for you for free on a call. And then basically the goal is to jump out as the founder and the visionary. All of this is basically what I call the exit operator model. We help experts, founders, and service providers step out of the daily ops without breaking the business. So we basically deliver that transformation in two ways. The first one is done with you, where we build a system together, weekly calls, Slack, my exact Notion stack. The second way is done for you, right? That's for the top 1% operators who want to fully hand it off. But we do this less and less, honestly. Like 90% of our clients, as well as in like the agency when we had it, they actually prefer done with you. And why is that? It just gives them more control and leverage because they don't want to be babysat. They want clarity, ownership, framework that actually scales, and is also an extra skill you'll basically add on. I actually remember when I had my first like done with you client that I signed, he messaged me 2 weeks later and he was like, wait, like this works? I laughed and I was like, I told you so. He didn't even believe he could do this himself, right? With that with you way. So basically how we would do this, first of all, you kind of want to start with something that's like done for you to build case studies, then switch to done with you just to scale margin and clarity. It's more hands off, less team members to operate it as well. Basically to give you the playbook right here, done with you, it's just faster, more scalable, and more profitable. And a lot of people are just stuck here in the done for you stage, right? But really what you want to go towards and build towards is done with you delivery model. If this is what you need, the link is in the description and I'll walk you through exactly how this could look for your business. Now the results basically from last month, it was 3 done for you clients at 45K, 6 done with you clients at 50K, and a high leverage residual at 5K as well. Now for us, that was about 80K a month in profit, and I was able to work just a couple hours a day. At some point, it was even almost 6 hours in a week. 1 team call, I jumped in maybe like 2 client calls to take out some fires, and that's really it. The rest of the time, I travel, as you can see right here. I create, and I'm in the flow, not firefighting anymore. Now, sometimes I actually look back at my calendar and I legit laugh, like, how is this my life right now? A few years ago, I was actually deep in the client Slack threads while literally DJing at 3 a.m. Let me see, like, yeah, I have some pictures here actually, and some photos here of my calendar, which was just absolutely insane. This isn't just about the money, right? It's about the energy, building a business that amplifies your life instead of just like making it harder, right? And instead of just like draining it. So again, basically what we want you to work towards is having 1 team sync maybe a week, clients, a success manager handling all the client facing delivery with an executive assistant, and you focus on the vision and have more leverage that way. The second step is to just track the results and refine. So we're going to create a space where the drive is better, the thinking is better, and just amplify your margins. Now again, hit the calendar link in the description below and I'll walk you exactly through how this actually works and see if it's a fit. This is the moment most founders actually miss. Now most founders actually stay stuck, not because they're lazy, but because they're trapped in the wrong model. They think more revenue will fix it, and it really won't. Like, you don't need like 3 or more funnels or another sales hire. You need to become replaceable. And that's exactly what we built. So you can kind of like have that freedom and do whatever you want. So we've helped creators, consultants, and agencies do this to step out of the fulfillment and install a growth system and scale without chaos. Now, this is the exact same system that we basically use with Graydon right here. He's here. He's actually in with me with Bali. We had fun, but we actually went there in the rainy season, which was kind of shitty. But he actually used the same methods to actually scale while traveling. Daryl used it to basically grow leads from content and stay off calls. And this is Daryl right here, by the way. And I used it to step out at 24, basically. Daryl's also like sleeping here on the plane. This was a plane ride from Korea to Mexico. And I used it to step out at 24 years old and basically do whatever I want in any country I want. If you're still waking up anxious, by the way, and drowning in task lists, like, I get it. I've been there, and I promise it doesn't have to be that way, right? Because you probably see all these people like flexing online, and it happens. Like, a lot of people just do it the right way. They're not doing as much as you think they are. If this sounds like what you've been looking for, click the link in the description and book a time, and let's map out your exit. Welcome to the exit operator era.